Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lovett Film. My name is Jamie and I am your host. Today's guest is Rafi Silver. First of all, what a badass name. Come on, who has the second name Silver other than Terry Silver from Cobra Kai? I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I just got talking to Rafi there and I mean, whoa, such a cool guy. I mean, we first saw him in Fallout Season 1 as Mr. House. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Season 2, not quite what we think. We're calling him on the internet Bobby Apartment, okay? And I can't wait for you to hear the conversation with Rafi. We talk about all the actors in Fallout, whether it be Macaulay Culkin, Walton Goggins, Ella Purnell, just to name a few. We talk about the mysteries of Fallout and Season 3. We can't wait for Season 3. Now, anyone online who's going to make fun of me saying the number 3, yeah, I know, man. Look, it is what it is. I'm Irish. Let's get going. So, Rafi Silver, thank you so much for coming on to Lovett Film. I'm a fan of yours. Recently just saw Fallout Season 2. Your character, however, has gone through a few different twists and turns. Now, first of all, if anyone hasn't seen Season 2, there's going to be spoilers in this interview. Now, you started in the first season, coming around the end of the season, you were revealed to be Mr. House. And you were in this boardroom, and we have Francis Turner's character talking about, dropping the bomb and stuff like that. When you first got the role in Fallout, were you aware that your character was going to completely change into a different character?
Not fully, no. But, to be fair, it didn't say Robert House once on screen. When I got the audition, it did say Robert House, so I did know who I was portraying. I didn't get the full script, so I didn't, and it was season 1, so I didn't even know the concept of how they were going to be flashing back and forth, and that this was not going to be a direct retelling of the game, but it was going to be an adaptation of the game and all that. The source material did exist. In fact, I've told this story before, but my wife works in voiceover, and at the time she was a voiceover talent agent who worked on video games. And it happened to be during her time that they were casting the voices of New Vegas. And so she was constantly running auditions for the voices, and she remembered the character Robert House. And so she was giving me some tidbits about it, some behind the scenes, and jokingly she said, in fact, I filmed the audition right behind me. One day I'll show the world, but she said, I think you might be a little young for this, because she knew the character from the video games. And so right from the audition, I kind of had a suspicion that there was something different about my character. And then when I showed up and recognized, or at least suspected, that this was pre-war, because we were talking about the bombs dropping, that I was like, am I the real Robert House here? I mean, whether I know I am or not, I am, for all intents and purposes, sitting here at this table. I am Robert House, and this is how he would react to it. But information about who I am started trickling out and given to me on a need-to-know basis.
Oh, okay. So when you first got the role, like the, showrunners, executive producers and all, they were just like, yeah, you're this character in a boardroom. And as time went on, the reveal slowly unfolded itself. While doing research for you for this interview, Rafi, I saw as well, like you really went in deep to find out the lore of Fallout. You know what? Like I heard you were watching YouTube videos like There Was No Tomorrow, like Mr. Maddie Plays, stuff like that, really getting in there and figuring out the lore of the games. Now, I'm a gamer too. Like I've played all of the Fallout games, but I wouldn't know all this exact detail about the lore. What was that like for you? Like, were you familiar with the actual game? Like, had you ever played it before you went into that research?
Well, I hadn't played the game before season 1, because it was really quick. I mean, I got the audition, and within a few days, I was on set. So there wasn't enough time to do all that deep dive into Robert House or the video game. I couldn't play through the game. I have a family and stuff, so there was no
It's a
chance I
long
could just
game
sit there.
too. I mean,
Yeah, there was
you
no
need like
chance
a
I could
couple of
just
months to get through,
yeah,
you know?
I couldn't just sit there and grind. So
Yeah.
I decided after I had watched season one, because they dropped all 8 episodes on the same night, and I basically binged through it. And after I saw season one and saw that my scene was in the finale and saw the implications of what that scene meant for the world of Fallout, as not just in that show, but also the lore and canon of everything. And then I saw the last shot of season one headed to New Vegas. I said to myself, man, if I'm going to be in season two, I better get ready. And so from that day until, and honestly, I'm still doing it, I was like, do I play the game? And then I thought about it. I was like, I'm not a really good video game player at the moment. And I was like, there would be a learning curve to playing it. Or I could just go find these people who play the game really well
Yeah.
and not only have played it well, but they've also uncovered all the story and Easter eggs and all that sort of stuff and are continuing to do so. And there are different debates, different YouTubers, all these people talking about the history of Robert House, particularly who I was portraying, turns out to not actually be portraying him, but learning all of that was my mission, and studying it and watching playthroughs of the game, watching these lore YouTubers talking about it, making these awesome 30-minute, 40-minute deep dives into his history from the information that they piece together through the games. Not only from what Robert House says about himself, but also about what's found in the logs and what's found in the logs at the H&H Tool Company about who Anthony House is and all sorts of information about his history, and really like the picture of him that we kind of recreated a little bit in the show with my character. And all of that was so fun to dive deep into. So by the time season two rolled around, I felt so much more comfortable knowing specifically, all right, I'm pre-war and I have all of this information as the actor. But then once I found out I was the decoy, I was like, well, it was perfect because that's what the decoy would do as well. That's the way I was like, well, this was not for naught, because this is exactly what my character would do as well, was to learn as much as he possibly can about this man and about his history. And it ended up being a really fun experience for me doing this research, but then also helped me as I went forward. So, I don't want to keep telling the story, but it was tough for me because I felt like I had this relationship with all of these YouTube personalities on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of these people I feel like I've known for a year and a half, but I haven't been able to tell any of them that I've been watching their videos. And so I feel like in a way it's very Robert House-esque that I'm like watching everything that they're doing and they have no idea. Like I'm on the Reddit threads and I'm watching them talking about the character and arguing and debating about the performance, about me, about everything. And it's like gathering all that information was really fun as an actor to be behind the scenes that way. And so finally, when we got to reveal it in this season, it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. And I can just be like, I know all of you people. I know you don't realize I know you, but I do know you. And like, I've watched all of your videos multiple times.
Do you think it's more interesting from an acting standpoint that you're not Mr. House now, that you are this double? Like his character, like this character didn't exist till the show. So, it could go anywhere. Do you think that's more interesting from an acting standpoint?
Well, I think both characters are really interesting, but I was excited to play this one because I come from a Buddhist lens. Like I teach mindfulness meditation over at Columbia University, and I train athletes, I train actors, I train business professionals, and it's all about our identity as self and how we display it. And so when Geneva called me on the phone and was explaining this dude playing a dude disguised as another dude, to quote Justin from Tropic Thunder, I got really excited about what's the psychology in the mind of somebody that has to portray a high stakes character to the world at all times. When does he get to take drop the veil? When does he not? And I've just been a fan of spy movies my whole life. I've been a fan of The Americans was one of my favorite television shows. And I thought that was handled so well, watching these two Russian spies going through life in the suburbs and how they were constantly changing clothes and really needing to believe the circumstances that they had. And, I like the show The Traitors on Peacock. And I love this idea of believing circumstances that are not your own in order to accurately and convincingly be somebody else. And when do you start to lose yourself? What parts of you disappear? And I don't know. The fans have given me a nickname because we don't know my character's name. They've called me Bobby Apartment, and I really enjoy that nickname because it's like we got to call him something. We can't just call him fake Robert House. So Bobby Apartment, as we call him, who is he? Where did he come from? Why is he this guy? What has that shifted over time? Because I say in the show about 10 years, but is it 10 years? Am I just saying that to Coop? When did I meet Robert House? How did I meet him? What were the circumstances that led me to make this choice to literally give my life away, whatever life I had, to become this other person? And, the loneliness of that. Do I have a family? Is this for money? I say it's a living, but is it still a living at this point, 10 years later? There's a lot of psychology that I found really interesting. And also, the fact is, I still get to be Robert House sometimes. So I get to play two characters simultaneously. And so I know I made the joke, dude playing a dude disguised as another dude, but that is the truth. There's Rafi, then there's Bobby Apartment, and then there's Robert House. And so all three of those identities of self are in concert together. And it's exactly what we do as human beings and as actors.
Sometimes too, your character's silence says 1,000 words, like that scene in The Lucky 38 where you come into the elevator and everyone's like, it's Robert House. And then you walk towards Walton Goggins, Cooper Howard, and you're so quiet. And then you whisper in his ear going, Mr. House would like to see you now. It was just so powerful. For me as a viewer, I never would have guessed that you weren't Mr. House till this season. It's just, oh, wow. Those sets so immersive too. What was it like acting on them?
I mean, like I said, I watched so much playthrough of the game. And I mean, I even saw this one YouTube video. I wish I could give the person credit. I can't remember all of their names. I mean, I have some that I've shouted out and I wish I could shout them all out. But I saw this one where a person spent all of their caps to literally fix the Lucky 38 to make it look like it was pre-war. So they fixed the casino, they fixed this, they fixed that, and they upgraded it as best as they possibly could. And then it was like, this is what it would look like brand new. And then as the actor, to step into that, it felt like I was in Ready Player One. Like it was almost like I put on these virtual reality goggles and stepped into the video game. And so like those practical effects that the show was so keen on using just supports the actors. It's like you don't have to do much. And then also like Robert House's Penthouse, I did all of that play through and walk through and all of that. And to literally have the elevator doors open and look around. And we shot that on the volume stage. So, which I've always wanted. Once I saw that technology, I was like, it was a dream for me to work on one of those stages. And so I thought, well, oh, we're going to be on the volume. I thought the whole back half of the Robert House's Penthouse was going to be volume. But it wasn't. It was just the windows. Everything else was built and practical, like the staircase, the monitors, it was all built. And wow. Like there's Victor, you know,
the
literally
Securitron, yeah, just
like
rolling
a
around.
Giant Securitron.
It must have felt like you were actually in the world. Like
literally, it feels like you're 100% there.
That is so
and
cool.
You don't have to. You're not acting with a tennis ball. You're acting with Victor. You're acting in Robert House's Penthouse. And so all the discussions we have about like performance, or maybe Bobby Apartment goes over here when Coop and Robert House are talking. Well, does he sit down? Well, there's no stool there. I remember it's like, well, there's no stool there. Doesn't mean we can't add it, but then fans will notice like, why is there a stool there? And so that kind of detailed decision making felt like you recognized what you were in service of as we were making the show, which just gave me, it was inspiring to me because it constantly reminded me, right, we're doing this for the fans and we're in concert with the fans. So every time I light a cigarette, the kind of cigarette they're going to notice. If I look this way or say something, they're going to notice it. And so you can almost lean back as an actor and trust that what you're doing is going to be seen. And you can allow the production to kind of lift you up and support you and hold you. And the great writing and the incredible practical effects, like I said, it's all there. And so you really just get to enjoy it and be in the Lucky 38 or outside of it, which I shot outside of it as well at night.
Man, Rafi, I'm so jealous that you got to experience that. As a fan of that game, I'm like, that is as close as you'd ever get to being there, you know? Sorry for the interruption. If you are enjoying this video, why not leave a like, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications, rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on all our socials at Lovett Film. Help us grow so we can keep giving you guys interviews like this or many of the other interviews. We've interviewed people from GTA, Red Dead Redemption 2, Fallout, Dexter, you name it. More coming right here on Lovett Film. You had such great scene partners too. I mean, I know with Walton Goggins' character, it was a lot of like quiet moments. You were in the elevator. I mean, you were whispering in the ear. But I mean, you also had these intense scenes with Francis Turner, you know, in the boardroom meeting when you open the briefcase and you're like, this is the new technology. You know, I just loved that scene. It felt so like, what is going on? And again, immersive. You felt like you were in that Vault-Tec building. I mean, what was it like shooting that scene with Francis? Oh, and Kyle was there too, right? Kyle MacLachlan?
Yeah, of course. Kyle was so funny. He's such a good actor, and first of all, every single person in this cast are such good actors, and they're such lovely people. And so it's like you can't really go wrong working with any of these people. Frances in particular, I had worked with Frances in season 1. So, because she was in that boardroom scene, and that was a long day of shooting. So I got to know Frances. And so it was kind of like a nice reunion to be like, oh, you're back. Oh, we're here. Here we go. We get to do another scene together. And that was exciting because it's like we already had a little bit of a rapport because we had that interaction from season one that we could kind of build off of, which was cool. Walton, I mean, I have been obsessed with Walton Goggins as an inspiration for me as an actor well before he was Walton Goggins right now. In fact, back in the day when I used to live in West Hollywood, I had moved there in 2012, right after graduate school. And I think that's when his son was born. And I remember I think we lived not far away from each other because I used to see him walking his son in the stroller. Like we would end up at the same breakfast place. And I would always be like to my wife, it's Walton Goggins. It's Boyd Crowder right there. You know, he's one of my favorite actors. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Justified's amazing. And then Baby Billy is probably the funniest. I mean, Uncle Baby Billy it has to be one of the greatest comedic performances ever done on television. And I was watching it while we were shooting. So I'd be in my trailer and then he'd walk by and I'd be like, I wouldn't be able to contain myself. So it was amazing to be able to actually step onto a set with Walton in general, but then to actually meet him and work with him. He is the most generous, kind, present actor there is. And the thing that I can say about Walton that was so inspiring is that Walton is in service of the story. And he kept reminding me and everyone around, it's like, what story are we telling? And he kept checking in with me and everybody on set to be like, are we telling the same story? And so all the questions were about that. And I loved that because it's not, okay, we're making Fallout, we're making a big show. It's like, what's this story? And how do we build that tension? The first scene that I shot with Walton was the one that we came out of the elevator. And so the Mr. House would like to see you. So it was such a great introduction to be able to work with Walton in that scene with all those extras and build that tension and really just like go toe to toe in that moment. And it set the stage for me to work with him. And I'd be remiss to not talk about Justin Theroux as well, who's also a hero of mine. And to be on set with the two of them, like quite literally watching them go toe to toe and seeing how these two professionals work, not just because they're really close friends. So it elevates like the chemistry amongst these two actors, but also just like to see how they handle themselves on set, how they handle the questions that they ask about the script and the story we're telling. And it felt very collaborative. I mean, even season one felt incredibly collaborative. We shot in this really cool building in the I believe it was the Lower East Side or East Village. And the second floor, they built the whole set in the basement, but the second floor had like a theater. And because Amazon had, production had taken the building, the theater was empty. And so Graham and the whole cast that was in the scene, it was just Graham and the director. We got up there and we like set up the chairs like we were doing a play on the stage. And we just rehearsed it that way. And it was like, wow, how collaborative is that they're really being so specific about what it is that we're trying to do and supporting the artists as we were doing it. So, I mean, that on a big production like this, to have that kind of support as an artist, like I already mentioned about the set and all that, it's like they're setting the conditions up for you to succeed. And so you get to then focus on what it is that you're doing in your job.
You're also incredible, Rafi. Like for every single character you watch in this show, you're just like, I'm so, what's the word? Not even immersed, but you believe they exist. Whether it be Walton Goggins as the ghoul, you're like, yeah, I believe he lost his nose a long time ago. It's like you forget all these things, and there's so much practical sets, as you say, like the boardroom and the Lucky 38, that when you do see something that's CGI, you question it a little bit. Even like say Kyle with his de-aging. Oh my God, that's some of the best I've ever seen. Like going back to that boardroom, not the boardroom, but the meeting room with Francis and Kyle's character. What did Kyle have in his face? As in, was he just in a suit, but he had like dots on his face, or did they? What did that look like?
No, I mean they combed his hair in a certain way and they gave him a certain type of makeup, but no, it was Kyle. I
Wow.
mean, and it was really just in the performance. And of course they did some CGI, but his behavior shifted.
Yeah.
He had a little bit
More
higher
pep,
energy,
younger.
more eager.
Yeah.
That character of Hank as it progresses that's Kyle. That's his performance. He really had that specificity. I mean, it was hilarious, like watching him bounce in the room, and he's so eager to see that automated man, and he's looking, and Robert House is like, Bobby Apartments check, not quite sure about him, like why is he in the room, or maybe I do know, all this little subtlety that's going on in that scene was really cool. And I didn't get the scripts for every episode, so I
All right.
didn't fully Bobby Apartment. It was above my pay grade. I didn't quite know what the automated man was.
Yeah.
And so I was acting it where it was like, yeah, I have this thing and it does this, but really I'm here to get cold fusion. So, and Francis is like, so what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, it's above your pay grade, probably above mine as well. I don't quite know everything about what it is that we're doing, but I know what I'm here to do, and that's get cold fusion for this.
Oh, wow.
So make sure you're buying that.
That's incredible. You're really like in the character then, because you could imagine that like Bobby Apartment doesn't actually know either. I love it. What do you think of the finale? I mean, I got a chance to watch it yesterday. Oh my God. Just like the way they edit the episodes together as well. It's just so like you cannot stop watching it. What do you
Oh my
think?
God. The finale was incredible. I mean, just like the first season's finale as well, it really teases a location, but doesn't tell you we're actually going there. I love the fact that we didn't see Barb and Janie in
Yeah.
the cryo chambers. I loved that. I thought it was, where when Max,
Colorado.
that fight with the Death Claws was
Oh,
just beyond. I mean, I think I rewatched just that. It was just Aaron Moten's performance this season is, in my opinion, Emmy worthy. It's just his subtlety and so like the sadness, the deep sadness inside of his eyes, as well as like the comedy that he's able to bring with that is so genuine and so real and innocent, and showing his backstory in Shady Sands and knowing where he came from to then get him in that power armor and then be saved by the NCR in that moment.
oh.
It was just with that slow motion shot, which I
With
have
the NCR
seen is
Ranger when
like
he's on the balcony.
it's a
Wow.
direct, almost like shot for shot, like correlation from the game, and it's like, wow,
Wow.
and that's what I loved about watching this season for me compared to season one, was because I had done all this research. Now I felt like I was a fan, like catching all these little Easter eggs and explaining to my wife, like, oh my God, you know why that's important and why that's important. But she's enjoying it on her own, just as a person that doesn't know anything about the games. And I think that's a testament to the way, like, the story is being told, but also the performances of the actors. Like, you care about these people, you care about the ghoul. You really can see all of Walton's performance behind his eyes. Like, within that makeup, you see the hurt and the pain and the loneliness. And it's like, that's a theme throughout this, all these characters. It's like, there's that duality within them. They're trying to survive, but everybody just wants to be seen. And they like, the real person wants to be seen and loved in some sort of way, but yet the circumstances are not allowing it. And that's just the best storytelling you can have. So I thought the finale crushed it. I can't wait to see season 3. Sometimes I forget I'm in this show because I'm like, I can't wait to see it.
That's so cool that you get an insight into it as well. I mean, being a fan of what you're watching, and then again, I don't want to spoil anything that happens in season 3. I don't want to get you in trouble or anything, But it will be. I can't wait to see where it goes. And on paper, you would look at a show like Fallout with so many different characters and subplots. Like you forget that Norm's character's there, and he's in the building with the Vaulties, and then you have Macaulay Culkin in the Legion. He's the new Kaiser. There's just so much. I mean, did you get a chance to meet Macaulay Culkin? I mean, that's what an
I
amazing
didn't get
actor
a
too.
chance to I didn't get a chance to meet Macaulay. We were at the premiere together, but I was bouncing around all over the place. We walked right by each other. My son kind of looks like him when he was in Home Alone, and all my son wanted to be like, go talk to Macaulay Culkin, tell him I look like. I'm like, he's not gonna he's not gonna care about that. But my youngest, we, of course, like every other person in America, we watch all of the Home Alones during the Christmas season. And when my younger son was, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, we were watching Home Alone Lost in New York, and he didn't quite pick up the fact that his character's name was Kevin. He called him Home Alone. He thought that
Oh,
was his name. And so he's like, why is Home Alone sad? we So that's like a big running joke in our family, is that we call him Home Alone. But no, I didn't get to meet him. And also, I mean, I got to meet Ron Perlman, which was great. We had a
wow,
nice
Hellboy, yeah, so
conversation.
cool.
I had no idea he was in the show until the premiere. I didn't know Kumail was in the show until the premiere. There were certain people I just had no idea. I mean, Macaulay was announced, but I didn't, of course, work with them. And I didn't even work with Walton when he was the Ghoul. It was like I would sometimes through the trailers pass people who were wastelanders, and like they would be all dirty, and then I'd be like getting all cleaned up. And I think Johnny Pemberton was like getting his makeup on or off while I was like getting my mustache worked on. I think that's the fun part about the show, is that we have those two things happening simultaneously. But yes, you're right. It's like the amount of characters and the depth of each one. It's the best storytelling I can think of that was like Game of Thrones and things like that, where you're bouncing back and forth. You're like, oh right, that storyline's so interesting to me. Like, let's expand upon that. Let's see more of that. Let's learn more about who that person is and what makes them who they are and the choices they have to make in this world. There's so much. It's so dense. You can go in any direction that you want.
Raphael, I love the show. You genuinely, and I think your performance in it was amazing too. I mean, just as a fan of the games, to get a show that's just not only very respectful of the games, but one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's incredible. I cannot wait to see where it goes. I know you 100% cannot tell me anything about season 3, but I mean, I can't wait to see it.
I mean, of course, it's like I've been working on this line because I get asked this all the time, but I think Bobby Apartment says it best. It's above my pay grade. I mean, you know, it just is. It's like they're not gonna tell Bobby Apartment what's going on. And honestly, it was the same thing when it was announced that Justin was playing Robert House, and the whole internet was like, "What happened to Rafi? Has he been replaced? Is he?" And I had already finished filming season 2, so I knew I was in the show. It's so much more fun for the fans to let this thing play out naturally. So even if I did know, there's no way I would say anything or tell anyone, because it's just not fun. It's so much more fun to watch the Reddit threads and listen. I talk to so many people now through DMs. They're asking me these questions all the time, and I just want to know their theory. Like I want people
It's like the
to
videos
tell
you were
me,
watching in prep.
yeah, I want to know who you think my character is. I want people to tell me what they think his name is.
I
I
think
want
Bobby was
people.
probably like a mailman or something like that who just like sent in an application and then he got the gig.
Is that your theory
That's
on him?
my
He
theory.
just
He's a
like
mailman.
Robert House was like, there was like an ad
Huge.
up there on the pole, and he just like he's like, I need some money, and he's smoking a cigarette. He's like, oh yeah, I'll take that.
That's my
I, you
theory.
know, what I love about playing him is that Justin plays Robert House so differently than me. Like there's, we're not I'm not doing an impression of him because he's over here and I'm over here, and there's a very different stakes involved with what's going on with him and with me. They're equally high, but they're very different. And so to be out there when everyone's trying to kill you and they know your face, I'm out there on the billboard and I'm on the television commercials and I'm the one being interviewed and I'm out there. And like quite literally, that was a storyline this season. Like someone's trying to kill me. And I'm sure if one person, a lot of people are, what is Bobby Apartment's deal with that? Like, how does he notice? Does he know that? Of course he knows. So how does he protect himself? Does he have weapons training? Is he maybe ex-military? Is he, like a jujitsu master? Who knows what the deal is with him? But I think it's interesting to hear what people have to say and really like focus in on the psychology, like what's going on. And I like to play with that.
Big time. And honestly, Rafi Silver, thank you so much for coming on. First of all, your name,
You.
Rafi Silver, is one of the coolest names I've ever had to say in an interview. Like that is like, have you ever seen the Karate Kid 3? Like Terry Silver? That's such a
Yeah,
cool
Terry
name.
Silver.
That is the coolest name ever. I just had
Yeah.
to say that to you.
Well, I appreciate that. As a kid, it was not my favorite name, having the name Rafi, because there's a famous child singer named Rafi. We spell it
Oh,
differently. It's Raffi, and he was very popular, at least where I grew up. And he sang this platinum hit called Baby Beluga. I mean, first of all, Rafi is an amazing, talented child singer artist, and a lot of those lyrics are incredible, teaching about love and kindness and gratitude and all this stuff. But as a child, at like 3 or 4, he was like top of the charts for all of my friends. And I used to get teased, be like, are you that singer? And I would eventually, sorry, that's my mailman. Eventually
that's
I would
Bobby.
just, yeah, there's Bobby right there. Eventually I would just say, to my friends, I think I just caught on. I was like, yeah, this is my first Decoy. I'd be like, yeah, that's me.
Okay,
They'd be
yeah.
like, they're 3 or 4, so they would believe that they'd be like, Rafi, like the child singer. I'm like, yeah, that's me. I sang those songs.
That's such a cool
Whoa!
switch. That's
That was my
amazing.
first. It was my first Decoy that I played was Rafi, the child singer. But
You've been
appreciate
in
it.
this
Thanks for
Bobby mindset for years.
always pretending to be someone else.
No, I get that though. My second name is Lovett. So as a little kid, everyone's like, "Who do you love?" I was like, "No one, not even my mom." Like so. I understand getting made funny for your name, but it's a cool name.
Yeah, my mom's name is Maida, Maida, and it
That's a nice
wasn't
name.
until college that someone was like Maida Silver, which is made of silver. I was like, wow, I never picked up on that joke, but there you go. I eventually learned to love my name, and I love it now because nobody love it. There you go. I love my
That's it.
name. Love your name, saying it right there.
Ah,
Appreciate
thanks,
you
man.
having.
Oh, thank you too. And is there anything you want anyone to check out or promote or anything like that?
Well, ultimately, I love like I said, I'm a mindfulness meditation instructor. So if anybody wants, as I'm promoting something, I don't have a voice, but if anybody needs resources on mindfulness meditation, or they need to be pointed in the right direction, or is interested in it, you can check out my website at peakmindperformance.com, and you could reach out to me through that or through my Instagram handle at peak.mind.performance on IG. And I would love to support anybody that's interested in that, because mindfulness, meditation, all that stuff has really changed my life. And hopefully I can continue to bring awareness to that and support people that are feeling anxiety or depressed, or just want to have a little bit more loving kindness, gratitude, loving awareness in this life. So happy to point you in the right direction, send you a guided meditation, any of those sort of things. But absolutely reach out to me. And that's less of a promotion in terms of like a coaching business, but more I would love to be a resource for the community or any community that's interested. So
Right on.
thanks for
Mindfulness
giving me
is
that
so
opportunity.
100%. It's so important too. Like as you said, with anxiety and depression and all these mental health issues, mindfulness is so important. So yeah, folks, if you have any issues with that or just want to, become more mindful, you could say, check out that. So Rafi, thank you so much again. This has been a real treat for me talking to you about a show that I'm fascinated about. Not just the show, but yourself as an actor and what it takes to play a guy who's playing a guy who's playing a guy. And yeah, thanks, man. Nice to meet you.
Appreciate it. Lovely to meet you and chat with you as well. Take care.
Thanks, man. Welcome back to Love It or Hate It. Thank you so much to Rafi Silver for coming on to the show. Apologies for pronouncing it Rafi. I'm Irish. Very hard for me to pronounce A's and a certain Americanisms. His name is Ra, but when you're in Ireland, it's Ra.
Okay, guys, so that was Rafi Silver. Thank you so much for coming on. We're big Fallout fans. We had Adam Faison just a few weeks ago, and that was really cool. So, yeah, was really looking forward to this. Loving season 2 just wrapped up by the time we're filming this. Jamie, what do you think of the interview?
Right, interview was great. Fallout season 2, very good too. It's one of those shows where sometimes you think, man, there's not enough here. I want to see more. I want to see more. I'm realizing that's actually a good thing for the show. They have all these plots, and usually when you have too many subplots, it's hard to make that work. But they're somehow doing it. And I thought the finale made season 2 come right up to here. At the time you guys are watching this, it's been like 2 weeks, so spoiler alert if you haven't seen the finale, but the NCO Rangers on the balcony, oh man, it was so cool. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, no, pretty badass. Like they're taking obviously some liberties with the Fallout lore, and actually, you know what? I think they need to. They own.
Sorry, I just remembered something hilarious. I don't know if anyone else thought this. But when Aaron Moulton's character is saved by the NCO Ranger, for a second in my head I'm like, wait a minute, is that us? As from the game?
I was looking at that.
I was like, is that us?
And I was watching with my girlfriend, and I was like, that's me. That's me saving.
That would have been better. Well, they never said it wasn't.
But I think I think it's just like a little nod for those New Vegas fans.
I think if it's officially not, that's a missed opportunity, because I thought that was so cool, because if you haven't played New Vegas, you can be male or female like most of the Fallout games. But when you're in the full NCR getup, there'll be no way of knowing if that's like anyone who played the game. That could be your character.
And that getup is considered the official courier kind of thing. It's on the box art. Obviously, I know you can wear anything in the game, but
I'm so glad you thought the same thing.
No,
I jumped up and I was like, "That is me! I am saving."
I mean, it might as well be a spiritual thing. Like, no, it's like I think the show, like, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit predictable towards the end. That's my thoughts about it. Just because I've been watching all the like YouTube theories, heavy spoilers. He's great, it was kind of easy to see where it was going, but the performances great. I love seeing puppet death claws. Very cool. I honestly, I was like, no, there's no way these are physical things. But they are
good CGI, man. I mean the fight scene with Maximus and the death claws. Whoa, man, the CGI on the death claws looks so real, because for a lot of the time Aaron Moulton Maximus is in this actual mechanical suit. Like, it's not real power armor, like it's probably styrofoam or whatever, but it looks so good, man.
I was wondering how they were gonna do that kind of style.
T-45 was in this season as well.
Because it's like in the games it looks so good, particularly Fallout 4, where they changed it from being like an armor piece to being an actual mech suit, and I was like, how are they gonna make that look good? Because I remember Iron Man 2008, that like for the most part, was a lot of it was practical.
That's why it looks so good.
Yeah, and then they obviously, you know, as the movies went on, they wanted
Marvel
cheaper.
peaks,
Yeah. And they started like just having one piece of his armor. But for this, it was like, oh, this is cool. I can tell this is definitely a practical thing. So yeah, no, like, look, as I said, story a little bit predictable for me, but I do agree with what you say. They are handling all those little micro plots well. You know, it's a hard thing to do, I think, when you're jumping back and forth from those things. And like people complain, oh, I wanted to see more of this. Like, in fairness, I did want to see more of you know,
Norman.
Yeah, Norm. I wanted to see
that was
plot
weird.
going
Yeah,
on.
you know, Norm. I feel like his plot really could have been an episode in its own. You know, I was kind of bummed out that even after interviewing Adam Faison, like, we didn't get to see much more of that plot line. You know, there was this fight. Yes, the Rad Roach scene where they were all killed. I'm not sure if they even showed
that.
Adam
Was like, it was like
dead
that particular scene was split up into 4 episodes.
It was dragged out through the whole season. And
so
sorry, one big criticism before I forget.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin was in all the marketing for this season. He was the least. He was the actor with the least screen time. That is such a waste.
A good hook though for the show. That's
I mean, he was so good in it, but we barely saw him. That was one thing where I was like, oh man.
You would just wonder though how much he's paid per minute.
I am Kaiser. He's really like, you know.
He said in an interview with like IGN or something like that he actually played the games and he's familiar with the way they talk.
He knew, like,
even the way you pronounce Kaiser.
Yeah, he got the script. He's like, you want me to pronounce this as Kaiser, right? And they were like, yeah. No, he's great, but I just wish they saw more of him. Man, what's his name? Kyle MacLachlan. I was so happy they didn't kill him off because he's so good in the show. You know, Lucy's dad.
It looks like the new season is going to be set in
Colorado.
Colorado, yes, land of South Park. Yeah, it's going to be set there, and you know, we're going to see more Hank. We're going to see more of the Ghoul.
Yeah.
Cooper looking for his family.
I'd love to see the Institute.
Yeah.
They're meant to be gone.
I'd say that could be like a season 5.
If Nick Valentine, I want to see.
But I think I was like, oh, he's gonna discover his daughter. He's gonna discover his wife. He's gonna find them this early on. And then I realized, oh yeah, no, they're not gonna just give us that. It's gonna be probably another season or 2 maybe, because that's gonna be the payoff. But no, I'm like I do still prefer season 1. I won't lie, it has a lot of highlights, season 2, and just talking about Rafi's character there, I thought it was a really cool cop-out with the body double Mr. House, because that was a whole speculation online about why is there like a different Mr. House in the trailer for season 2.
As they saw it too, like Rafi didn't know either. Like, he watched all the YouTubers like Mr. Matty Plays and all them, all of Mr. House, and it was only as the episodes are happening, he's like, oh, I'm not Mr. House. And he calls himself Bobby Apartments. The internet gave him that name for his character's name, you know, because he's not Mr. House, he's Bobby Apartments. So
I'd say he would. We might see more of him, considering he is literally the representation of Mr. House in that world. Like that's why Cooper didn't recognize him or anything like that, because you know there's that scene where he's in the bathroom stall with him.
Oh man, you know I really don't like that's annoying me about it. The first episode of the show, I think it was the first one, we saw the bombs drop and Cooper Howard picked up Janie and that was it, right? She ran away from the explosion. We still don't know how Cooper became the Ghoul or how Janie and Frances Turner's character Barbara ended up in the cryo chambers.
I think
they haven't shown it. It's really annoying because it's like that should have been there, because it's still like why didn't they finish that little prequel?
But if you think about it though, they didn't in season 1. They didn't show us everything in the past. You thought you seen everything. You thought you knew everything.
Yeah.
Since season 2, we're introduced to Vegas when pre-war. You're introduced to it's actually the Enclave that are behind the scenes here. So I think we will see that just probably nearly the series finale. I'd say, you know, the last season.
Man, where you know what they have to do next season? They have to do, if that isn't the player character on the balcony at the end of season 2, they gotta have one of them show up. They're always like, the only one that wouldn't be silent is Human as the Day I Was Born, the Fallout 4 character.
Well, Nate. He's actually called Nate, and his wife is called Nora if you decide to play as her. So they're the only two, I think, bar the ones from Fallout 1 and 2 where it's like
harder.
I think well, you know, in those two it's like they're like the they come from a certain vault and they're fixed characters. Fallout 3 in New Vegas, you're kind of your own character, and in Fallout 4 again, it's Nate and Nora, depending which one you pick. So those characters from those games, I believe, could make an appearance. Yeah, if they really want to. But I'm really glad we got just a cool guest on, from Fallout.
Man, it was great. I mean, Rafi Silver, I said it to him too, such a badass name. I said it to him in the interview. Had he ever seen Karate Kid 3, Terry Silver? And he's like, yeah, man. And it's just a cool name. But anyway, I can't thank him enough for coming on to the show and chatting to me about Fallout. It was great, and I can't wait to see Fallout Season 3. I can't wait to have more of these talks about what's going to happen, what we want to see. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, whatever. Click the bell notification so we can keep making these interview videos. If you're on Apple Podcasts, why not leave a review? Helps out the show a lot. We're just doing this on our own. We're not a big mega company. We're just here making some videos for you guys. So we will see you next week.
I hope you all have an A1 day.